you want to have a little agenda, right? There's a check-in. Is everybody there that should be there? Hey there, everybody. I'm Shannon Lee, the Director of Coaching at Win Without Pitching, and I'm back to you today to answer another Ask Me Anything question. This one's coming into us from David, and it's all about the closing conversation. I'm looking forward to answering it. Let's hear what David had to say.
Hi Blair, I read both of your books, The Manifesto and Pricing Creativity. I enjoyed them very much. Applying the value-based selling framework right now for our agency. I just have one question because I kind of like missed that in the books, or maybe it's not in there. In a situation where you're dealing with a potential six-figure or even seven-figure engagement in rare cases, you're having your free options in your one-page proposal. You price them out. The prospect is aware in beforehand, but then you present a proposal to him in a call, and you walk him through the options. How do you get the prospect to close and commit at this very moment? So far, I haven't been able to do that. So far, people always say that they need like a week or 2 weeks or sometimes longer time to evaluate the options. Obviously, this could be because I'm kind of like, making a mistake in qualifying them in terms of timeline or things like that. But even when their timeline is relatively short, like a month or so out, they still say they need quite some time to consider it because it's a larger sum. Is there something that I can do beforehand in the sales or in the marketing process, apart obviously from having a better, more trustworthy positioning to kind of like help close these people in the presentation?
That's a great question, David. Thank you so much for asking. So, the closing meeting in Win Without Pitching land is a lot different than maybe what you're all used to out there. The closing meeting should be one where the pressure is frankly off. It is about facilitating a conversation around the options, the three option, one page proposal that you're bringing back to that client after you've properly qualified and had a good value conversation. So, in the closing meeting, when the meeting kicks off, you want to have a little agenda, right? There's a check-in. Is everybody there that should be there? Do you have the time that you thought you had? Do you have the full hour? Because you better have your 10-minute option ready to present if need be. And then one of the things that's very different is we want you in that meeting to state the intention of the meeting. Okay, so everybody, we are here today to walk you through the options we have come up with that are solutions to how we might solve your problem. And the goal of our meeting today is to make a decision at the end around which option is going to be the best fit for you and make a decision if we're going to move forward together or not. Those are the words we want you to state. You want to set that expectation. Now, it may be that you get to the end of the closing meeting and that decision can't be made, or those team members need to go back and huddle and talk amongst themselves. And that's okay. What we're doing, though, is setting the intention and leading in the sale so that by the time you get to the end of the closing meeting and you've presented the options, you can go back to that. Okay, which option here makes the most sense to you? And you may hear something like, well, we like option two, but we really need to talk as a team and make a decision and just have some private conversation. Your response then is, yeah, no problem. I totally understand that. Let me ask you though, what would stop you from hiring us today? You want to ask that question if they're not ready to pick an option and move forward, because you want to see if there are any other objections that you need to overcome. And you want to try to overcome them right then and there if you can. And if there aren't any objections, they just really want to have time to talk about it amongst themselves, then you want to drive the next step. And I know you guys are all probably like, I know, Shannon, you're always telling us to drive the next step, but it's important. This is an example of leading in the sale. So you get to the end of that closing meeting and they want to talk amongst themselves about the options, then your next move is to say, that's fine. I totally understand that. How does next Wednesday at 4 look for your team so we can regroup and you can let me know your decision? Because what you don't want to do is get in that follow-up mode where all of a sudden you're just like shot backwards into the vendor role where you're calling and emailing, how's it going? Have you decided? That's a dismal place to exist. We don't want that for you. So those are some tips for you, David, to try to run a more effective closing meeting. And you're right, not all of those answers are in the book. A lot of good information in the book. But if you want to go deeper and learn the frameworks and hear us model language and really kind of take you further into how you run these conversations, then think about attending a workshop or a boot camp. We have a lot coming up. And so check out our website, winwithoutpitching.com. And also make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notifications when new videos are posted. And please send me any and all questions you have. We're here to be helpful. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Cheers.